Hi, I'm Dave, graphic designer by trade, and I was the cinematographer for feature film Moorehouse Road. I'm also the other half of CHRAVE. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 enemies of filmmaking and what you can do to overcome them. Enemy number 1 is not doing it for the right reasons. Well, there are filmmakers out there that suggest you should really have a niche and find your audience and make the movie with them in mind. I say, don't worry about that. Just focus on you. Make a movie that you really want to watch, that you'd be proud of. Yeah, you might become a viral sensation and Hollywood could come knocking on your door, but if that doesn't happen, you really need to love the end product. And chances are somebody out there is like you and will enjoy the movie that you've made. You might even be able to produce some physical media that nobody will buy. But hey, you can watch it. If you do it for you and the love of filmmaking, you're already a winner. Enemy number 2 of filmmaking is imposter syndrome. It's something I've experienced quite a bit in my life through my career as a graphic designer, thinking I'm not good enough, that I don't belong, but also something that I'm experiencing right now as I sit on this side of the camera. As a cinematographer, I'm used to being on the other side of the camera. That's where I'm comfortable. I could compare myself to others, like him who's a far better storyteller than I am, or that guy who's way more charismatic. These two are great at cinematography and color grading. Way better than I'll ever be. Instead, I use them as inspiration to help me to set a goal, to set a benchmark to work towards. So to beat imposter syndrome, don't compare yourself to others. Just do you and focus on what you can do and be the best you can. Enemy number 3 of filmmaking is procrastination. It's really hard as an independent filmmaker when you don't have a client to answer to or a strict deadline, and projects can just keep extending out further and further. It's a challenge. That's why I recommend having a filmmaking partner, or if you don't have one of those, get a family member or a friend to help keep you accountable. For me, it's Crispy. Use them for motivation to help you keep going. Also, I'd recommend setting a date to work towards. It's important that this is a real date, not a fictitious date plucked out of thin air. Maybe try a film festival that you want to enter. See when their submission deadlines are and work strongly towards that goal. For the Moorehouse Road deadline, we had the WA Made Film Festival to make sure we had our DCP files all in order, ready for a cinema screening. Enemy number 4 is perfectionism. This can be another form of procrastination, where you focus on the tiny little details and sometimes forget the bigger picture. It can come in the form of wanting to rewrite the script when maybe draft 10 was pretty good. When you're directing somebody, you can go through a million takes when the third take was probably the best. It also comes in the form when you're zoomed in at 300% looking at the individual pixels. Well, are those individual pixels really going to impact the overall picture of the film? Probably not. When Chris and I were doing Moorehouse Road, we wanted the climax to be a literal cliffhanger. So we looked for a place to film where we could do it on the cliff edge. So we found a location, which turned out to be on government land, which required us to pay a fee in order to shoot there. Then we would have to get safety experts to make sure our actors were safe with all the proper harnessing. Then there'd be extra cost involved with post-production, where we'd have to edit out any wires that might be seen. In the end, we decided this was going to be far too costly and too much stress involved. Looking back on it, I think if we had done the cliff scene, it would have been epic. But it wouldn't have made more people see Moorehouse Road, and it wouldn't have made the end product any better than it already is. So I'm glad we went for the simpler option. Sometimes you have to know when to do that. I'm not suggesting you accept mediocrity. No, you should always strive to do your best. But sometimes nitpicking over the little things when it comes to the bigger picture is just a waste of time. Don't let the pursuit of perfection stop your movie from being seen. It's better to have a good movie that people can watch than a perfect movie that nobody sees. The final enemy of filmmaking is burnout. When there's only a small crew, it means you have to do a lot of different tasks. This can get overwhelming, and it's very easy to experience burnout. When making Moorehouse Road, Chris would take regular breaks down at the beach and come back refreshed, ready to start writing again. When it came to production, we scheduled our shoots over multiple weekends, and some included breaks over those weekends, which was really good to keep our schedule less demanding. When we finally wrapped up shooting, we took a break. We made sure our footage was all backed up, and then we just stopped thinking about the movie for a while. It was really important for us to clear our heads before we started post-production. Then, when the time was right and we'd rebuilt our energy, we could dive into it full steam ahead and finish the film. There you have it, the 5 enemies of filmmaking and how to overcome them. Hopefully this has inspired you to finish what you started, or even get started on something that seems really impossible to do. Chris and I really appreciate your support on the previous 2 videos, and we're sort of winging it as we go on this. So if there's anything you'd like us to cover, let us know and we can detail our experience for you. Hopefully my imposter syndrome hasn't got the better of me and I've actually uploaded this to YouTube. If I have, well done me, and thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Dave overcomes imposter syndrome, 26,386 take. Use them, send them your drafts, get them to ask about how you're going with certain things, just so you have somebody to... Fuck it, maybe I'm done.